struggled a little bit to score in that first part of the second half. We had a couple of threes by Pep, but we weren't very good offensively in the second half. I think a lot of that is because their defense is so good. And then on our defense, obviously it's not a strong suit of ours, but I thought there were a couple of threes that were made that were guarded, especially with Bell. I think he just is really a great catalyst for them. He was the guy that I was most concerned about. And as the game unfolded, just even the first two, he makes a guarded jump shot, and then we leave him alone. I don't think we watch the film and see how that happened. It's 2 threes in the first half, and I was thinking if you'd said that to me going in, I'd be okay. And then you watch how it unfolded, and then Arch Diacono made 2 threes at the end of the first half that really hurt us. This first part of the second half, we just didn't guard good enough in the first couple of possessions, and we couldn't score.
And obviously you have a lot of guys out, but does their depth make them as dangerous as they've been, and they have so many options that they can go to and can really wear a team down in the second half?
Yeah, it is a little bit of that, but I think what is impressive about their team is that they all buy in. They all know their roles at each end of the floor. So like Tony Chenault, he just did what he had to do today. He stepped up and made plays. He knows that it's not a three-point jump shooting contest for him. He bothers you defensively, and it's that kind of knowledge of the game and who you are, a sense of who you are, that I think puts Villanova in a different category.
You talk about some of the problems Villanova is shooting from the perimeter. How much of that is you guys just not doing your job defending the perimeter jump shots, and how much do you just have to kind of tip your cap?
Yeah, I think it's 50-50 today is what it is. There are a couple of open jumpers that we can't afford. We don't have a lot of margin for error, so we can't afford that open look. But again, I thought there were a couple of jumpers that were just really well guarded, and again, especially by Bell, and you tip your hat to him.
A chef who entered the game shooting over 80% in his last 8 games, and then today he was 5 of 6. He's pretty disruptive around the rim. What kind of challenges does he present on both ends?
He's doing his job. Daniel's always been a very efficient defensive player. I thought he changed some shots here. Not only did he block 3 shots, but he changed a host of others. Because we were at the rim a number of times, especially in the first half, and I'm sure he was the cause of us not converting. And then he does what he's supposed to do on the offensive end. He just snuck behind the defense a couple of times. They found him, and he did what he needed to do. So he's a good weapon for them. And he played 26 minutes. He's got 7 rebounds. He's got 3 blocks, and did his job. And you could say that for everybody on their team. He just did their job.
Coach, do you think it's a different game if Will doesn't go out with a cutlet for a few minutes?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, it could have helped us a little bit to have Will in there, because certainly in the first half he was our offense. He was keeping us in the game. In the second half, they were starting to make shots even before Will went out. So I think it would be nice to have him in there, but it's one of those things that happens.
The 8-1-4, 8-5 October line games, is that kind of hard to fathom when you think about it? And can you kind of put it in a historical context?
I think it speaks to the quality of their basketball program and how good they are and how they, again, have bought into their roles. I think Jay's doing a wonderful job with these guys, and it's not like they're oversized other than a chef movie. Everybody else is very similar. But I think their toughness is really good. As an example, at the end of the first half, where Arch goes for 2 threes that just absolutely kill you. But it's that kind of thing. There's a mental toughness about them. And again, it's a checking your ego at the door kind of toughness too, which is not all that prevalent in college basketball today. And that's what I think makes them so good.
Is it hard as a coach to get everyone to buy in and be on the same page?
I would say to you, Mike, that I think they must have some really good leadership in that program. And again, I would credit a lot of it to Bell for a lot of different reasons. One, that he's a senior. And it looks just like when it comes time for really a tough shot that they need to make, he shot a couple. There was one jumper he shot with pepper in his face. And I'm saying, I'm watching it go, and it can't go in. It just found a way to go in the basket. I just think there's a toughness about him and them and the leadership that is within the group. And I think all of us who are in this profession would tell you, the leadership comes from within the group. It's much more meaningful than if it comes from the coaches. Our role, leadership-wise, is important, but it's not the most important. It has to come from within the group, and I think that's why they are elected.
Fran, earlier this afternoon, John Baum said to the statue unveiling upstairs that after you took over as head coach here, one of the first conversations you and he had was about honoring Coach Litwack and Coach Cheney. You just talked about what today meant to you as someone who knew both of them very well.
Well, I think two very important figures in Philadelphia college basketball, and obviously nationally as well. Two Hall of Fame guys. And two, that's what I would stop at, Hall of Fame people. They obviously were Hall of Fame coaches, but they were Hall of Fame people. Harry Litwack helped me when I went to the United States Army in 1970 and helped me immeasurably. I played against his teams and really valued how they guarded you and how good a coach he was. And then John Cheney's been a great friend and a great mentor and somebody who I think is just a wonderful human being who has done great things for so many people. And you won't hear very much of it because he won't talk about it, but he's helped so many people. So I thought it was great. I thought it was terrific. I wish I could have stayed throughout all of it. I thought there was one comment by Rick Brunson that I thought was terrific. He introduced Coach Cheney. He said, you know, it's an awesome thing. He told everybody how much Coach Cheney meant to him and his teammates. And it was great that they could be there, that he could be there to celebrate this with them. You know, obviously Coach Litwack has passed on and couldn't be there for his guys, but in this case, John Cheney could be there when his team and this university honored him like they did tonight. And those statues are going to be there forever, and I think they're well deserved to be there.
Cheney also talked about the message that he said to you and the team. There's a difference between failing and being a failure. There's a difference between, losing and being a loser. How do you think your team took that?
Yeah, I think that everyone, it was probably a 25-minute talk, and I would think every one of those kids would be riveted to whatever it is that he had to say. So he's a special guy, and he means a lot to this university, he means a lot to this city, and means a lot to college basketball.
Anything else?